Namaste everybody. Welcome to my second series of yoga videos exploring the 7 main chakras of the human energy system. These videos focus on Asana and some pranayama, and there is also a complementary meditation video as well to go with each of the chakras. This video takes us into the realm of the second chakra. So we're going to be exploring the sacral or pelvic chakra, known as Svadhisthana Chakra in Sanskrit. So moving upwards from the root chakra, which we have already explored, and the root chakra being a very active, masculine and heating energy, working on the power and connection to the physical world and activating that power within us. We move up to the more gentler, cooling and feminine energies in the pelvic chakra. And as its name implies, we're focusing on this area of the body, which is from the lower abdominal area or the pelvic area, around through the hips and around into the sacral area and lower back area. It also explores the focus on the body's fluids, because the sacral chakra connects up to the lunar energy, which is governed by the moon, and it governs the fluids in the world, and so the fluids of the body are also being activated. The glandular systems, the urinary system, and the blood, and all of the other areas of the body that have aspects that contain the fluid elements within the body. So the energy that we're going to be activating with this class is a much gentler and free-flowing and relaxed energy, a cooling energy. Now, I suggest that if you like to explore in more detail the theory behind the chakra system, that you do your own study from books and the internet and other materials. I do have a brief description at the beginning of each of these chakra classes that will give you a little bit more information about what each of the chakras is about. So you can also use that to help you to get to know that. But really I want to focus on the practical side of things. So we're going to start this class with, as we always do, just a very brief set of little warming up movements, and then we'll move into some of the asana, particularly work the pelvic chakra. So just taking the feet a little apart, bending the knees slightly, and we're going to just loosely sway or swing from side to side. It's a very relaxed, gentle, loosening movement for the lower back, the spine. And then coming back to the centre, so establishing good mountain posture, balancing between the balls and the heels with the feet hip width apart, bottom and tummy gently tucked toward the spine, and the shoulders relaxing back and down. So just a few gentle spinal movements. Turning your right palm outwards, breathing in, bringing your right arm up, and then exhaling, moving over the left side into a gentle side stretch. Breathing in, coming up slowly, and then exhaling, taking that arm down slowly. Turning your left palm out, taking a deep, slow breath in, raise your left arm level with your ear, and then exhaling, moving over the right side into that gentle side stretch. Inhaling, coming up slowly back to center, And then exhale, moving down with the arms slowly. Clasping your elbows for a little spinal twist. Breathing deeply, exhaling, turning slowly towards your right and stretching your arms back towards the other side. Breathing in, slowly coming back to center, then exhaling, turning upper body towards the left and stretching arms back. Breathing in and coming back slowly around to the front, letting your arms relax. And then stepping your right foot forward and your left foot back. So we're going to do a version of the archer posture. This is a nice fluid sequence of movements, working on little back arch, gentle back arch and a forward bend. Back arches are particularly good for the pelvic chakra because they massage and activate the kidneys and the adrenal glands in that lower back area. So bringing your right palm onto your right thigh, your left hand is resting on the left side of your waist. The legs should be straight. We're going to use slow, relaxed, deep breaths. Breathing in, slowly bringing the right arm up, gradually looking up as long as your neck is okay, and then arching back gently, little back arch. Exhaling, coming back to center and stretching over the right leg, coming slowly down. And then inhale as you slide your hands up the legs slowly. If you have lower back issues and you find that's a little bit strong, that forward bend, then going down into it the gentler way, which is also sliding the hand down the legs slowly and coming up in the same way. So we're going to do that sequence one more time. So pressing the pelvis forward, breathing deeply, raising the right arm, and then arching the upper body gently back. Exhaling, coming back to center, folding forward or going into the gentler movement, coming slowly down. Breathing in, sliding the hand up and gradually uncurling the spine to come back to center. Bend the right knee, so carefully step forward with the left foot and take the right foot back. So just checking that you're nice and balanced on the feet, well aligned, legs as straight as possible. Left hand goes on the left thigh, right hand goes on the right side of the body. Inhale, slowly and deeply, raising the left arm, stretching up, arching back a little with your upper body. Exhaling, coming back to center, folding forward or slide the hand down the leg if you need to. Keeping the legs straight if you can. Breathing in, uncurl as you slide your hand back up the leg. And we'll do one more of those. So pelvis forward, deep breath in, raising left arm, stretching up, arching back a little with your upper body. Exhaling, coming back to center. Stretch and lengthen as long as your lower back is okay, coming down slowly. And then inhale, sliding the hand up, uncurl the spine gently. Coming back to center, bend the front leg, coming back with the feet hip width apart, and just releasing the hip and lower back area. So we do some circling movements. These are also very good for the pelvic area, the hip area, which is working on the pelvic chakra. Rotating in the other direction gently. Coming back to center, and then we're going to do a figure of 8 circling movement. So bringing your left hip forward to the side, back, and then right hip forward to the side, back. Left hip forward to the side, back. Right hip forward to the side, back. And then reversing, just drawing that nice fluid movement. You can feel the hips being gently loosened and the lower back also gently stimulated as well. And then coming back to the centre and then bringing the knees together, bend them gently and doing some little circles into the knees. And then reverse. And forwards and backwards and side to centre. Press the knees back, come up slowly and relax your shoulders back. So for working the hip and pelvic area, we are going to now do a squat. We've got a couple of squats to do in this class, and the first one is this is a fairly strong one, working on the inner thigh and hips, opening up the pelvic area. This is quite a good one to do for ladies who are pregnant, but just go carefully with it because it will give you that loosening and opening up of the pelvic area. So we're going to take our feet a little bit wider than the hips, and we have the toes angled outwards slightly. And we're starting with the hands on the thighs. If you have any issues with your knees, just go as far as you're able to manage. Don't push yourself to go into the maximum position at all. You just stop when you feel you've gone to where you can manage. So we're going to breathe in deeply. On your exhalation, starting to bend the knees and sliding the hands inside the thighs, coming down to the knees. So that might be enough for some of you. We want to press the knees out a little bit if we can. If you can manage to go further, we're sliding the hands down further, coming down to the ankles, and you can stop there if you wish. You're pressing the knees outwards with your arms. If you can go all the way down, we tuck the hands underneath the arches of the feet and then lower the bottom, carefully flattening the feet. So we want to keep those heels on the floor and lifting the upper body, pressing the knees outwards a little bit. Just taking a couple of deep breaths and then exhaling. So we're going to come out of it through a forward bend, bringing the bottom up and gently, slowly lower the head down to look between the legs and lifting the buttocks a little bit higher. You can release your legs and move your hands up a little further if you want to. And we're going to pull the upper body in towards the space between the legs, lifting the buttocks. So it's a nice little forward bend, spinal stretch. And then releasing the legs, breathing in, sliding the hands slowly up the legs. So you're just coming up nice and gently and very slowly, making sure the head comes up very gradually, and relax the shoulders back and down. And then just walking the feet back a little. We're going to have a loose swing. And then bend the knees a little pat and rub in the inner thigh area and around the knees as we work those areas. And then coming up gently, and we'll do a little lower back massage with the fists and giving the lower back and the kidneys a nice rub. And then once again, just gently circling the bottom and reverse the direction. And then back to centre. So we're going to do another variation on that squat. This version, we're going to be supported by the wall. So I've got my wall right up here, so I'm just going to step back towards the wall. And we need to make sure that our feet are a little out from the wall, so they're not right up touching the wall, a little out from the wall. And we want to have the feet around mat width apart or slightly wider than the hips. So as I said, this will help to support you as you come into a squatting position, and it particularly helps to keep the whole of the spine nice and straight while we're working on opening up this pelvic groin area. It helps to release tension in the hips and in the pelvic area. So we're going to start with the hands on the thighs, and we're going to just start to bend the knees and begin to gradually slide your back down the wall, coming down slowly until hopefully your bottom comes to the floor. If your bottom isn't comfortably coming to the floor, then you can try placing a little support like some cushions or a bolster so that you can come down onto the bolster or the cushions. So the bottom should be right up against the wall, the feet are a little out to the side, and then we're going to bring the palms together in prayer position, and the elbows should touch the inside of the knees. Breathe in deeply, pressing the hands down a little further, opening the knees up a little bit more. And then on your exhalation, begin to bring the knees towards each other, stretching the arms out, exhaling. Inhaling, coming back up, bringing those elbows back inside the knees and pressing down with the hands, opening up the knees, feeling that groin stretching. Exhaling once again, stretching arms out and bringing the knees in towards each other. And we'll do one more. So inhaling, bringing the head back up and the elbows pressing against the knees as we lower the hands down. And then exhaling, bringing the arms out, stretching forward, bringing the knees in towards each other. And then inhale, coming back and gently release the legs. So just bring your legs out in front of you. Just stretch out that mat a little bit, give the legs a little bit of a shake. And then bend the knees and give your thighs a little pat and massage, and the knees also a little bit of a massage. So now that we're coming down onto the mat, we're going to do a little bit of a counter pose for that one, which is we're going to move into the camel posture shortly. So for the camel posture, we are going to be particularly working on the back arch position, and it's a little bit stronger than the gentler one we did standing up. We're also going to be getting a good stretch to the quadriceps thigh muscles as well. But the benefit for the pelvic chakra is that we're going to be massaging the kidneys and the adrenal glands, which is helpful to, especially if you want to awaken yourself a little bit if you're feeling a little bit tired or sluggish. So we're going to do this camel posture with the aid of the wall. So that's why I'm up close to the wall. And we're going to start from a simple and basic version, and then we'll take it a little bit stronger for the people who want to go a little bit more deeply into the posture. Remember to only go as far as you feel you can go, and especially if you do have any lower back issues, go very gently and carefully. Don't try and do the most advanced positions. So we're going to start first of all by, and I'm going to be facing the wall, so I do apologise, I'm not going to be facing the camera for too much of this posture. So we're going to bring the thighs and the pubic bone right up in touch with the wall. We need to have our knees about hip width apart for this one. Now, importantly, to get this correct position, we want to maintain the pubic bone in contact with the wall as much as we can throughout this posture. And it's the upper back that will be doing the movement. So first of all, making sure that the pelvis, the pubic bone is in contact with the wall. We're just going to bring the thumbs of each hand into the centre of the lower back area and press the pubic bone right into the wall, and then just gently draw the shoulders back a little and looking forward toward the wall. And just holding that for a moment, doing a couple of deep breaths. And then coming back to upright position. After each of the movements, it's a good idea just to have a little bit of a rest. So coming into kneeling up position, or you can even sit on your bottom and stretch your legs out a little bit, just to release the back and have a little rest. So also the thighs were working, so it's nice to give them a little pat and little massage around the lower back area that we're working. So that's the most basic position. It's also a good position just to practice if you're not used to back bends, and maintaining that contact of the pubic bone to the wall is important. So the next movement we're going to do is a little bit more advanced. We're going to go into the half camel posture. So once again, using the wall, bringing your thighs into contact with the wall and the pubic bone into contact with the wall. So we're pressing into the wall. And then we're going to turn to face your left heel, and hopefully without letting that pubic bone come away from the wall, see if you can reach down to touch the heel. If that's not happening, then you just place your hand on your left thigh. So only if you can keep the pubic bone in contact with the wall do you reach down and place the fingers on the heel. Then we turn to face the wall. Try and bring your shoulders nice and level, touching your right shoulder, breathing in, stretching your right arm up toward the ceiling. And you're just looking forward, and especially for people with neck problems, that is the position that you maintain. Don't take your head back. So you're just holding for a couple of deep breaths, keeping the pubic bone in contact with the wall. And then exhaling, bringing the arm down, coming back to the upright, and then we're going to swap over. So you're going to turn to your right to look towards the right heel. See if you can place fingers on the right heel without taking the pubic bone off the wall, or otherwise the hand will go on the thigh. And then turning to face the wall, bringing the shoulders level, touching the left shoulder, breathing in, stretching up the left arm, looking forward towards the wall. And again, taking some relaxed breaths there. So these will also work the glute muscles quite strongly too. Exhaling, bring the arm down, coming back, and then we're going to, once again, we're just going to have that little rest. So you either sit down on your heels or sit on your bottom, stretch your legs out. So if your knees are not so good, then sit on your bottom and stretch your legs out. You don't have to sit on your heels. So just massaging those thighs, knees, and around the lower back area. And then the last position we're going to have a go at is doing the full camel posture. And you can go into it into quite a deep way if you're very flexible in your back, and as long as your neck is okay. So anybody who has neck issues, you're going to just look forward, you're not going to take your head back. But for people whose necks are okay, and if you're very flexible in your spine, you can arch your upper body back a little bit further. So once again, it's important though to keep the pubic bone in contact with the wall. We don't want it to come away. Otherwise, you're not going to be using the spine. You're going to be sort of pressing back, and you'll be not getting the correct stretch. So pubic bone is against the wall again. So we're going to reach down and bring left hand to the left heel, or it's onto the thigh. And then right hand to right heel or onto the thigh. And then taking the head back for those who can, pressing the pubic bone to the wall. And then one at a time, bringing the hands up, coming back to sit upright, and then once again coming to either sit back on your heels or sit on your bottom and stretch your legs out. So after that again we do a massage to the thighs, little massage to the lower back area, and just bringing the shoulders up, a little roll of the head, because especially if you took your head back, it's quite a strong one for the neck. And then reverse. Come back to the centre, and then we're a good sort of counter pose to that to go into is the pose of the child. So I'm going to come back sitting on the heels, or you can start from a kneeling up position if your knees are not so good. Bringing the arms beside you, taking a deep breath in, and then on your exhalation, slowly coming forward. If you want to open your knees a bit, you can. Bringing your upper body slowly down onto your thighs, forehead to the floor, and just relax the shoulders down towards the floor. Lovely stretch for the lower back, and you can even massage the lower back while you're there with your fists. And then just relaxing into it with the arms down. If you're getting sinus pressure, then the alternative position is to place one fist on top of the other, and then you're going to rest your forehead on the top fist. So that's just one for people who are finding it's a bit uncomfortable in the sinus area, or if you're getting that heavy feeling around that area. If you're able to get your forehead on the floor comfortably, then that's what you're doing. And then on your inhalation, I'm curling the spine, coming up slowly, head coming up slowly at the end, and then gently release and stretch your legs out, and just giving your legs a little bit of a shake. So the next sitting movement, this will be our final sitting movement for the pelvic chakra, is going to be a crescent moon posture, which is a version of the pelvic stretch. A lot of the movements that we're doing for the pelvic chakra, they are cooling movements. They're movements that's based around the moon, the symbol of the moon, and particularly good for releasing tension in the hips. And this is another one that's quite a good one for pregnant ladies as well. So here we are, ready to do the crescent moon or version of the pelvic stretch. So this one we are going to be on the knees a little bit. So for some people it might be advisable to have a little support under your knee if you have sensitive kneecaps particularly. You can use one of these sort of foam supports that I've got here that people use often in, when they're doing the gardening, or you can just use some form of supportive cushion that you can place underneath your knee. So I'm going to have a little go at using the this gardening support for this posture. So I'm going to place the support underneath the left knee and then bring the right leg up, first of all into a right angle. So these ones stretching the groin and the pelvic area, opening up the hips and also loosening and releasing tension there. So we're going to place one hand on top of the other first. Take a deep breath in. On your exhalation, start to move the pelvis forward and pressing down into the groin and staying as upright as you're able to, and just holding that for a couple of breaths. So feel the stretch and the opening up all the way through. Try and keep this in a right angle position as much as possible for this version. And then breathing in, coming back up, and just stretch the leg out for a moment. And then we're going to do the other side. So we're going to swap from side to side so we don't put too much pressure on the one knee all the time. So stepping the left leg up, and the support is now under the right knee. Making that right angle here, one hand on top of the other. Breathing deeply. On your exhalation, bringing the pelvis forward, keeping nice and upright, and just staying there for a couple of breaths in and out, and also stretching a little bit into that lower back area as well. And then inhale, coming back and stretching the leg out. And then coming back to swap over again. So what we're going to do is a slightly deepened version of that. So swapping the legs over, back into that right angle position once again. One hand on top of the other. Take a deep breath in and then exhaling, coming down, and then bringing the arms down beside you, fingers pointing down towards the floor, and taking some deep breaths. And then bring the hands back. Inhale, coming up, just stretching the leg out for a moment, and then swapping over once again. So the support under the other knee, coming up with the left leg, right angle position, one hand on the other. Breathing deeply, exhale, coming forward and down, and pressing down, and then bringing the arms down beside you, fingertips pointing towards the floor, taking some deep breaths. Bring the hands back to the knee, coming up, stretch the leg out, and then coming back. And we'll just have a little rest at this stage, coming onto the bottom and stretching the legs out. Now, it may be that that's enough work for you at this stage, especially if you're new to doing these kinds of lunges, and don't overdo it, because this area we want to just gradually stretch out. Little bit of a counter pose, and then I'm going to show you one more version, which is a more advanced yet position. But if you feel you've done enough work, then just go back to doing the gentler version that we started with. So the little counter pose for stretching the lower back and releasing it. So bring your knees apart a little bit, feet forward from the body, and then clasping down low towards your ankles. Inhaling, lifting the front of the body, and then on your exhalation, you're going to pull your upper body in between the knees. Open the knees outwards as much as you can. Just try and keep the spine straight, the neck nice and straight. Relax the shoulders and just hold that for a couple of breaths. And then coming up and then leaning back and flopping the knees, the feet in and out. So the final pelvic stretch we're going to do is one where we've got a little bit of a balance as well to it. I'm not going to use the support for this one, but if you do need to use the support, you're going to put it under your left knee and stepping the right leg up. So we're going to start the way we did before. Both hands on the knee. Take a deep breath in. On your exhalation, bringing the pelvis forward and down. We're going to now turn towards the left and just carefully raise the left foot up. See if you can grab the foot and then turn slowly to the front. Breathing in, raising the right arm and looking toward the ceiling. So this just deepens the stretch. Also gives you a good quad stretch as well. And it is a balance. Exhale, bringing right hand down, gently release the foot. Coming up, once again, just stretch that leg out a little bit, and then we're going to swap over. So if you're using the support, pop it under the right knee and stepping forward with the left leg. One hand on top of the other. Breathing deeply. On your exhalation, moving forward into that pelvic stretch. And then leaving the left hand on the knee, turning towards your right, looking behind you, lifting the right foot, grabbing the foot if you can, turn around to face forward, breathing in, raising the left arm, looking toward the ceiling, and taking some deep breaths. Exhale, bring the hand down, gently release the foot, coming up, stretch the leg out a little, and then coming back to sit on your bottom and, well, release the legs. Give them a good shake, little massage, pat it into the groin, little massage to the lower back, and then relaxing back, flopping the knees and the feet. And then feet together, gently rock side to side and to centre. So the final asana that we're going to be doing tonight is a version of the star posture. And this is a classic one for opening up the pelvis, releasing tension in the hips. It's also a classic one for women who are pregnant. It's very helpful for the birthing process and just allowing the hips to open and gain more flexibility. So we're going to come down onto our backs and do that, and I'll just demonstrate with some supports as well, just in case you need supports too. So here we are, ready to do our final position, the reclining star posture. Now, there's a possibility you may need a couple of supports. If you have yoga blocks, a couple of yoga blocks can be handy. If you don't have any yoga blocks, then just a couple of firm cushions that will help. This is for people who have fairly inflexible hips, and it can be helpful for supporting. If your hips are quite loose already, then you probably won't require the supports. Also, for people who like to have a support under their head, another cushion or a little support like I've got here, placed just where your head is going to go. So we're going to roll down first of all onto our back. So bringing the feet together, feet down at the bottom end of the mat. Just by the way, for pregnant ladies, if you're doing these ones and you're in your first trimester, they should be still quite comfortable for you to do. But I would suggest that after the first trimester, you would be better off doing the seated star posture, just because it's not recommended that you spend a long time with your weight on your back when you're starting to get quite heavy in the uterus. So we're going to bring the feet to the end and the hands on the thighs, breathing deeply. On your exhalation, tucking the chin toward the chest, drawing the belly in and pulling the pelvic floor muscles up. So all of that again, engaging the core. It's also part of the pelvic chakra as well. Moving down, keeping nice and strong there. Rolling down slowly. If you have lower back problems, you can use your arms as support as you come down. Just making sure that your head support is in the correct position. Release and stretch the legs out and give them a shake. Take a deep breath in, have a lovely stretch, bringing your arms up over your head, pointing the toes away, arching and lifting the rib cage. And then exhaling, bring your arms down, bending the knees, tuck the tailbone forward and under, draw the knees up and hugging the knees toward the chest, or you can clasp underneath the knees if you find that's a little bit easier. Just holding that there. If you're pregnant, you're opening the knees up wide, of course. And then placing hands on knees, gently, slowly rotate them around and giving your lower back a nice massage. And these are good movements to prepare for the pelvic stretching movement of the star posture, reversing the directions, especially preparing the lower back. Coming back to centre, pressing one knee forward, one knee back, and we're just rocking gently from side to side. So a very relaxed, happy baby sort of movement as we massage the lower back again. And then coming back to centre and placing the feet on the floor right up next to the groin. Now we're going to move into the reclining star. Bringing the soles of your feet together, just gently start to relax the knees out to the side. Now, if you're finding that's uncomfortable for your hips, then this is where the little support comes in handy. It can sometimes be helpful just to have the thigh, each thigh resting on one of those supports. And that just puts a little less pressure on the hips, especially if your hips are a little bit stiff. And eventually, over time, you can work towards not needing those supports underneath and just allowing the thighs to sink down naturally. So from here, just bringing the hands onto the top of the thighs and give them a little gentle press, and we're just trying to open up into the groin area a little bit. If you get uncomfortable, just bring the knees up, especially if you cramp around the thighs or the hip area, and then moving back into position, and quite often that will just release any cramping. So now we're just focusing on assessing the comfort there. If you are uncomfortable, remember, try patting yourself under your thighs, or you can also move your feet a little further away from the groin area if you really feel that it's uncomfortable for your knees. And then once you're as comfortable as possible, bring your arms down onto the floor, the palms facing upwards and the fingers lightly curled. We're going to just stay here for a couple of minutes while we focus on some deep, slow, relaxed full yoga breaths. So if you just close your eyes now, drawing your attention inwards, just checking that you're as relaxed as possible in your hips, your lower back, your thighs, arms, shoulders, and then gently roll your head from side to side, nice and slowly. And then bringing your head to centre, the chin tucked gently towards your chest. Relax your facial muscles. And then moving your focus to your breathing. And just begin to slow and deepen your breath. Close your mouth if it's comfortable, and focus your attention on the flow, the movement, and the rhythm of your breath. Keeping the breath relaxed and comfortable. Focus on the inhalation, breathing in positive, life-giving energy into your pelvic center. And then as you exhale, releasing and letting go of tension, negative emotions, and negative energy from your pelvic center. Inhaling
drawing in life-giving, positive energy into your pelvic center. As you exhale, release, let go of stiffness, of tension and negative energy from your pelvic center. And just continue for 3 more rounds, focusing on the breath and focusing the positive energy on the inhalation to your pelvic center, and then releasing the negative energy from your pelvic center as you exhale. Once you've completed your next exhalation, let your breathing return back to its natural rhythm. Open your eyes slowly and then place your hands underneath the top part of your thighs, and you're going to support your thighs as you gently and slowly lift up your knees, and then bring the knees together, and then bring the knees up towards your chest and squeeze and hug down, or underneath knees if you prefer. And then rotate the knees slowly around and reverse the direction. And then gently and slowly rolling from side to side. So these are all nice counter stretches to the lower back, little arch in the lower back that we got when we did that star posture. And then coming back to center, and we'll just finish with the basic spinal twist, bringing the feet to the floor, hip width apart, arms to shoulder height, stretched out, breathing deeply. Exhaling, taking knees over to the right and your head gently over to the left. And just relax for a couple of breaths, in and out. Inhaling, bring your knees and head to center, and then exhaling, taking knees to the left and the head to the right, and relax. Focus on relaxed, deep breaths. Breathing in, bring the knees and the head back to center, bringing your arms down. If you want to come up the gentle method, roll over to your side to come up slowly, or if you are happy to do a little bit more vigorous movement, the rocking and rolling on the spine is another good counter stretch to the little back arching that we did with the star posture. So you're going to tuck hands under knees, lift your head, tuck the chin toward the chest, and begin rocking forwards and backwards, keeping your chin tucked down towards the chest. And then once you've done that several times, rocking into a sitting position. So thank you very much for joining me for this, the second in the series of my chakra videos, the pelvic chakra. So I recommend that you follow this class with the beautiful complementary meditation practice, and the meditation that we're doing is entitled The Moonlit Lake, and it will soothe and focus on developing those calming and beautiful, relaxing, creative energies at the pelvic chakra. You can also, of course, do that meditation at any other time. It's a particularly beautiful one to do just before going to sleep as well. Namaste.